Today we are making Caesar salad with homemade croutons and homemade dressing. So today we're going to make Caesar salad. We're going to start with the croutons. You want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you want to chop up a loaf of Italian bread. And I prefer to use the one with the sesame seeds on it. I don't know if you can see them on here. You don't have to though, you can use regular Italian bread. And if you don't want to make a whole loaf, you can use as much of it as you want and then just freeze the rest of it, put it in a Ziploc bag, and it stores just perfectly. It doesn't have to be stale bread. I've done it with fresh Italian bread. It works just fine. It's just a little bit harder to cut up into cubes. Now, you can cut it up into any size, crouton size that you like. And what you're going to do is you're going to add some oil. I like to use vegetable oil, but if you prefer to use olive oil, feel free to do so. I just feel that the olive oil doesn't have a good, high smoking point, so I'd rather use vegetable oil because I'm going to put this in the oven. And I can't tell you how much because I don't know how big your loaf of bread is going to be or how much of it you're going to use, but you just want to drizzle it over the top, and then you want to just stir them all in. And what I end up doing when this is all done, when I take it out of the oven, I put it on paper towels so all of the excess oil drains, so you don't have to worry about using too much oil. So now I've tossed my breadcrumbs, and I'm going to add some salt to taste and some black pepper to taste and some paprika. It just gives it a nice color. It doesn't really have much flavor, I don't think. And some granulated garlic powder also to taste. And you can add any other seasonings that you like if you want some oregano or thyme, or this is what I put in mine. Now I'm going to toss it to coat them all evenly, and then I'm going to put it on a baking sheet and put them in the oven. Them spread out in a single layer on my baking sheet, and I'm going to bake them. I don't know for how long. I'm just going to keep an eye on them. You have to keep an eye on them because they can burn very quickly. So just make sure to keep an eye on your croutons, and you could toss them, every once in a while if you feel like it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm making a lot because my kids actually like to snack on these, and they're so much better than the store-bought ones. Give them a try. Now for the dressing, you can either do it in a blender or a food processor. I have some anchovies here. I have 8 of them. You can go lighter on them if you want, but I only use this brand. These are the best. They're pricey, but so worth it. I wouldn't dream of making my dressing with any other anchovy. They're not as salty as other anchovies, and they're juicy, or they're not dry. They're really amazing. So if you can afford it, if you can find them, let me show you once again. I get these at my Italian deli. They're really, really good. So I have 8 anchovies in here, and I'm going to put in probably it's about a 1/4 cup of mayo. Yes, mayo. You're supposed to use raw egg, but I don't want to do that because of salmonella, so I'm using a little mayo. It makes it creamier. And now I have 3 garlic cloves. If you don't like garlic, you can use 2 or 1 to your liking. I have the juice of half a lemon. And then I have Worcestershire sauce, which I just, a couple of glugs, teaspoon, I don't know. And then 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then I have a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Now for this, you want to go with good quality Parmesan cheese. But then for your decoration, I'll show you something else. So I'm going to mix this together, and then I'm going to slowly pour in some olive oil. I like to use regular olive oil, not the extra virgin kind for this dressing, but if you like extra virgin, go ahead and use it. So I'm going to get this started in the blender, and then I'm going to slowly drizzle in the olive oil. I'm not sure how much. I'll let you know once I'm done, but basically until you like the consistency of your dressing. So I ended up using 3/4 cups of olive oil, but then I tasted it and it was a little too salty, I guess, so I just added another 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. And the mayo really helps balance out many things, the saltiness, the sourness, the garlickiness of your dressing. So just give it a taste, and if it's too much of anything, you can just put in a little more mayo. Or you could start with less anchovy or use less lemon juice or less Worcestershire sauce, but don't be afraid of it. Just taste it. Make sure it tastes good before you serve it. So now I'm going to chop up my lettuce, and I'll show you the next step. Now this makes quite a bit of dressing, so whatever you have left over, just put in an airtight container and keep it in your fridge Should be good for probably a week. So you want to get some romaine lettuce and wash it and dry it, and then chop it into any size you want. This is how I chop mine up. And I'm going to show you what I do to garnish it, other than the croutons. I like to take this type of Parmesan cheese. It's usually like in a triangle, and you can see I've done this already with this piece. And I find that this doesn't work as well with the good quality, you know, aged Parmesan cheese, because it's usually drier and it kind of breaks. So I just take a potato peeler and I do that. And I'm going to put that on top of my salad. Now, if you prefer, you can get shreds or, you know, use a grater, however you like it, but I kind of like these little curls on top of mine. So I'll show you the next step in a second. Now the croutons are ready. You can see the color. They're nice and golden and toasted and crispy. So I took a colander and I put some paper towels and I just put them in there to drain off the excess oil. There wasn't really that much. And so now I'm going to dress my salad with as much or as little dressing as you like. Pour it over the top. Give it a toss. Then you just put as much croutons as you want on top and as much cheese as you want on top, and it's ready to go. Here it is, our Caesar salad. I hope you enjoy.